Hi, Phil Poultney here from the Isle of Man again. This is the second sort of conversation I wanted to have, just to let you know a bit more about what's going on regarding relocation to Lanzarote. So it was quite interesting yesterday, or was it the day before? I can't remember where we are now. But A Place in the Sun, which most people have heard of, they did an online chat, a video, sort of Zoom video. It was quite interesting. Various people on there. From the consulate to lawyers and people to relocate you, etc. So that was really interesting. So if you do go onto their website, I'm sure there'll be a link to that actual chat. I think it's about an hour long, but definitely lots of information that you can absorb and hopefully help if you are trying to relocate to Lanzarote. So from our point of view, the visa situation, we're still looking at the options with the visas, the non-lucrative. We have to go to Manchester to the consulate. I've got their paperwork, I've got emails off them. We definitely, myself and my wife, would need to go to Manchester to fill out the forms to apply for a non-lucrative. And obviously, that's the easier of the two options compared to the lucrative visa, which allows you to work. That's going to be more difficult because obviously, like we said before, they're trying to offer the jobs to the locals, which totally understand. So getting a lucrative visa at this moment in time, I think is going to be very, very difficult. One of the things that a guy called Alex Radford from My Lawyer in Spain, real nice chap, he talked about visas and the golden visa, which I had heard about. Basically, you've got to spend €500,000 on a property, which I'd heard about. And one of the things that came out of that conversation was that if you apply through the golden visa by buying a property for 500,000, you basically get your visas, and gives you the ability to work out there again, which is a big plus. Now, what would happen with that is that you can actually go out to Lanzarote. You have a maximum of obviously 90 days, but you'd have to do your deal pretty damn quick to get the house bought and all the bits and pieces that go with it through within that 90 days. But the visas would actually get applied for in Spain or Lanzarote, wherever you're going to. Now, I've just spoke to Alex on the phone, had a half-hour chat. So if you, like I said, My Lawyer in Spain, you can find them on the internet. They do a free 30-minute consultation, which is really helpful. I've made notes in front of me of some of the things he told us. What he did say is that they can act for us on behalf of us, and they can start the process sort of before we actually get there, just to speed the process when we get there, i.e. he can apply for our NIE card, the residency. There's certain things that he can do, get the ball rolling before we actually step onto the soil of Lanzarote, which again is helpful. So I asked the question, basically, £500,000, if we bought a house for €500,000, of course, and approximately you've got to add 10% onto that for taxes, his lawyer fees, blah blah blah, whatever it is. So €550,000 is going to cost roughly, and of course you bring that back to the UK pound price, whatever the euro is. He can send you forms out and he can act on your behalf. That's something quite straightforward, again, filling out forms, and then he can start the process of getting things moving a little bit quicker. Now, if we don't go down that route, we've got a guarantee on a non-lucrative visa, the figures that they quote, you've got to have €27,120 per year for, say, myself, and then each dependent was €6,778. So, i.e., 27,000 roughly for me, and 6,800 for my wife and for the children. So if you add it up, basically for 2 years, because you apply for it a year and it extends, each year is going to cost you approximately €47,000. So I keep talking pounds, euros. So it's quite expensive. So 2 years is going to cost you, so let's use the figure of 100,000 for 2 years. Now, every year this has to be done for your visa to keep going to the maximum of 5 years. Once you've done 5 years and you've done all your visa applications, etc., then you become a full-time Spanish resident. So you don't have to then prove that you've got that in your bank. It's a lot of money. to prove that you can live there. But again, they don't want you living off there, whether they have the dole out, I don't know what they have. They want to prove that you're coming in and you've got income to look after yourselves. Again, all this is what I've been taking in. I'm not a professional. I'm just trying to share in my experience because I've done so many emails and phone calls and etc. etc. And if it can help people, that's what I want to do. The other thing we pointed out to us was the health insurance. Now, health insurance you've got to obviously apply for before you get into Spain. I've got a quote roughly about €2,500 for the family of 4 for a year. Now, this is the top of the range one, because apparently you've got to have the top of the range when you first go, because you don't get no excess. We talked about that before. You don't have to pay for anything extra like you do on certain policies. Now, you've got to remember, you've got to have that for 5 years, because after the 5th year, you then can pay your stamp and go into their system as such. So again, for us, that's another £12,500 over the 5 years. All these figures I'm writing down because I want to know exactly where I stand and what it's going to cost me. So do think about that. And finally, the other thing he pointed out, what I asked him about, was the driving licenses, and it's a bit of a situation. He said, yes, at this moment in time, you have to change your license over. There's a backlog on doing this apparently, but he thinks, yes, at this moment in time, if you were fresh coming into the country after the Brexit, then you would have to take lessons and a driving test. But he thinks this will change. He said it's a stupid situation. He says that they haven't written new rules for it, which I get frustrated with, because for the last 4 years, we've been coming to this situation with Brexit, so it's taken far too long in my eyes. But hopefully, I don't particularly want to go. I'm 50 now. I don't want to go and taking driving lessons and taking a test. It'd be like going back to school to me, and I wasn't too impressed with going to school. So like I said, do go onto the website, A Place in the Sun. There is a link there to the chat. Very interesting chat. You've got an hour spare, then sit there with a glass of wine and just listen to what these guys say. And like I said, their names are on the screen. That's how I've got in touch with the guy on there, Alex Radford, my lawyer in Spain. I can't recommend him highly enough. He's there to help. Yes, he's there to make money. That's his job. But without people like that, you can't buy a property without a lawyer anyway. But they know the rules and the regulations. So hopefully I've helped. And as the process goes on and on, any information I think is interesting, I will share with you. My options are to be there for May. Watch this space. Thank you.